Welcome back. You're watching Outside. I am Chris Prue in the North Conway studio, joined by Tim Whiton. He is the Executive Director of the New England Ski Museum. We're going to talk all about ski history. We're actually sitting in a bit of history right now. Our office is located in the former Carol Reed store, which was one of the biggest catalog stores across the country in terms of ski apparel. And if you hear a lot of noise, they are renovating the entire building, bringing it up into the modern age, doing some amazing things here, but there's all sorts of construction around us. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Ski history is alive and well, and a lot of people who visit North Conway in the White Mountains kind of aren't aware of just the magnitude of ski history that exists here and this area's place in the world of skiing.
Yeah, Mount Washington Valley is arguably the most important sort of region. The White Mountains, definitely. We might be able to have an argument between North Conway, the Valley, and the Franconia area. I'm not going to wade into that one too much because there's some politics there. I'll get in trouble.
Well, you do have museums in both locations.
And we have museums in both locations, so my bases are roughly covered.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean the Valley is arguably one of the fundamentally the most important places in the development of North American skiing.
And the North Conway, the New England Ski Museum, North Conway branch is right in the downtown area, and that is what are the hours and operations of that? People can just come in and view history at any time?
Yeah, so it's open 7 days a week. It's between North Conway Community Center, the train station. We're the old community center, so we like to think of ourselves as becoming the center of the community.
Yep.
Certainly the center of the ski history community here. So yeah, 7 days a week, 10 to 5, every single day, open to the public, no admission fee. We have a lot of great permanent exhibits that speak to the history and the development of winter sports around the continent, around the region, around New Hampshire. We have a great new exhibit that's, we rotate an exhibit space at least every few months, and right now we've got a Annalee Doll exhibit that we worked with New Hampshire Historical Society and the Thorndike family, which is the original Annalee Doll family. So yeah,
I saw that. What is the significance of the Annalee? So that's a New Hampshire kind of original brand, so to speak?
Yeah, so I'm not from New Hampshire, so the Annalee thing is a little new to me. And we kind of fell into this in a sort of a roundabout way. The Thorndikes have been a big supporter for the museum for a long time, and we started chatting with them, maybe 9 months ago, and yeah, they had some dolls and some ski dolls, and so we kind of fell into it, and they wanted to put something together, and we started digging into the history of it. So Annalee started making dolls in the 30s during the Depression, and it was more of a hobby type of thing, a little bit of income there. And then in the 50s, the early 50s, kind of circled back to it, and it became a big production thing. And so it was, at one point they employed a couple hundred people in terms of manufacturing, and across the state. Yep. It was just a big iconic, and I think what's really interesting about them, there's two pieces. Most times dolls are meant to be played with. They're a toy. And these were never the case. They were a collector's item. They were a viewing item. Even though you can move them and put them into different shapes and things like that, they had a specific purpose in that. So, and so the collector's piece they caught on. But then their first dolls were on skis, which really speaks to the Thorndike family. Their kids were skiers, but also really speaks to the place that skiing has in the culture and the industry of New Hampshire.
Yeah, and it probably spread the concept of skiing a little bit too. I know, historically, like the White Mountains grew as a tourism destination because of the art that proliferated here and ended up on the mantles down in Boston. Kind of probably the same thing. You have these dolls, and they're coming from New Hampshire, and they're all decked out in skis. People want to to experience that, where the origin of these dolls and where they came from.
Yeah, very very much so. There's and this is what we try to do with the museum. I mean, there's the names, the dates, the places, the ski hills of skiing that are really important and fascinating. But there's sort of this synergy between some of these larger contexts, larger environments of life that are happening, and skiing is a really interesting way to understand that, and has also been significantly influenced by it.
The whole Annalee story reminds me a little bit, going back to the Carol Reed story. You had, this shop in North Conway that was making these, world-class sweaters. You can find them on the ski slopes of Aspen and Chamonix and everywhere else. This kind of same idea, just this, these products from New Hampshire proliferating. And I know at one point the Met Coffee Shop was an Annalee shop. That was my first experience with the Annalee dolls way back in the day. So it's neat to see this exhibit. It's
pretty cool. And Annalee, I mean, they did stuff for the New Hampshire Tourism Board, ski related and otherwise. They, for the Eastern High School Ski Championships or New England Ski Championships, they did a doll trophy for a long time. So yeah, they're out there, and they've been part of this New Hampshire ski history story for a long time.
All right, so that's a rotating exhibit, so check it out before it's gone.
Yeah, and it's likely going to be gone sometime in March, we think.
All right.
The New Hampshire Historical Society is going to need some of their dolls back, so we got to play nice with them.
Very cool. So we're talking with Tim Whiton, the Executive Director of the New England Ski Museum, branches right here in North Conway, also in Franconia Notch, New Hampshire. You guys have a big award coming up, the John Allen Spirit of Skiing Award. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So we do a Spirit of Skiing Award every year, and we're not really big into the Hall of Fame type of thing. We want to be able to have a little bit more flexibility. We've honored some famous ski racers, some of the big personalities, a lot of the industry guys. This is a unique opportunity. So John Allen he's a professor emeritus from Plymouth State. He literally wrote the ski history books.
Wow.
Most of his work was focused on pre-World War II, but he, in terms of bringing a trained historical perspective to skiing, snow sports, and the history of those, he's the guy. And so we're going to give him a nice award. And John is a former board member of ours, a founding member of the organization from the late 70s, and he's also the how do I want to say this? He is sort of the original collector for us, I would say. So a lot of our early items in our archive are from John, and he was sort of willy-nilly accepting and collecting a lot of things. Wow. Stored in his barn at first, and then now we've got it.
So going a long way in preserving the history of a ski history, not only here, but probably, because the ski history that does happen here is, it extends, it's intertwined with ski history across the world, but also just world history. The story of Hannes Schneider and how he came, from Nazi-occupied Austria to Cranmore is one of my favorite stories. You guys have an event coming up I think it's in February or March?
Early March.
Commemorating that?
8 through 10 is the Hannes Schneider Meister Cup. And so that's, it's got a lot of components to the event. We've got Bavarian music, Bavarian food. There's a ski race component to it. There's going to be some new trivia, and we're going to have a film showing as well this year. But it really fundamentally is a commemoration of the Schneider family and the 10th Mountain Division as well, which the Schneiders were part of. And winter and skiing in the Mount Washington Valley. So it's a super cool event. Information's online on our website. But the Schneider story is, it really speaks to the sort of global history of skiing and how it's all interrelated. There were other Austrians, other Europeans. Sig Buchmeyer came over in the early 30s to Franconia, and he was pretty influential for a long time. So that's skiing and world history they're together.
Save the date, a lot of pageantry. You can actually form a team of your own and participate in the race. It's a fun race. For information on that race or really anything else about the Ski Museum, where should they go?
skimuseum.org.
There you go. Very, very
Easy
simple.
enough.
Tim Whiton, Executive Director, New England Ski Museum. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're watching Outside.